association with Kumo Tyres, it's rally fever. Yes, the three legs of the Isle of Man. We are at the third round of the Kumo National Rally Championship, the Manx National Rally, the longest one in the championship, and a rally which of course was won last year sensationally by David Mann. But this year it's not been happy.
David, a sensational victory here last year, but 2004 has been disastrous so far. Are you going to all turn it around here?
Well, it'd be very nice to think so. I love coming here, and we've had some good results here in the past. It's completely different to anything else we do, and it's a long rally as well. That's like, I think, 130 odd stage miles, so that's nearly twice as long as we normally do. So it's a long, tough event. I think it's quite tricky this evening. You can lose the rally, but not win it, probably.
Big question, is this car now sorted?
Well, I certainly hope so. We still haven't had time to test it. The engine never went back until last weekend, so I still haven't driven it on tarmac at all, so we'll find out later on tonight.
Well, Melvin, victory here in 2002, and looking for another success, I think, on the island.
Well, it would be nice, wouldn't it? It's always nice to win the Manx, but there's some fierce competition, brilliant cars, you know, real top class machinery, top class drivers. It's going to be hard, you know.
Now, you've moved up to a newer Subaru, a 2000 model for this year. Do you see an improvement with the new car?
There is an improvement, quite a bit really. It's just learning the car, the different features and everything that he can do, and we've done a little bit of testing, and I think this is our third rally in it, but we're still learning it, but it is a very good car, like, you know.
And for this evening's session, what's the plan?
I think just get through this one, through the town here, you know, out over the top of the hills and onto the proper stages, and maximum attack. I've got to, because I got Kenny behind me.
Well, sorry, Kenny. Hey, look. You're just talking to David Mann. Are you giving him advice? You're trying to psych him out?
Trying to psych him out. That's all a fella can do nowadays, you know.
It's great to see you back in this championship. We're so used to seeing you winning in previous years, so this is just a guest appearance.
Yes, just the Isle of Man. We like doing the event, and it's a bit of practice, I suppose, for the international as well.
But also, of course, a point to prove after last year, so far, right at the end there, problems with the engine.
There's actually a gearbox problems. We had a problem in one of the chicanes, and I nipped a tooth in the gearbox, and really that was what put us out at the end of the day. But I mean, we're back for another try at it. So.
And what's this particular car using this time?
It's the S8 car that Jim Harrison uses on the national championship, you know, so the car's good enough, you know. Fire.
Roger Duckworth, championship leader, and looking forward to going on to the tyre, I know, because we can't really call you a gravel export, so you're so quick here.
We've had some good runs here the last few times, so yeah, we're just hoping to continue that form.
And what about tonight? I mean, this first stage is very tricky indeed, but short.
Yeah, we just used it to bed ourselves in, we hope, but the problem is that the adrenaline gets to you, the spectators there, you do tend to try probably too hard, so hopefully we'll try and just keep it on the island.
Now, most of the stage is pretty well the same as you've been over before, but you weren't here last year.
Yeah, not here last year, so 2 years since I've done any of this, and the stages actually, despite the fact I've been coming here for a long time, are just subtly different. There's Salty Will or whatever, that stage, brand new to us, because we've never done the international, so yeah, so there's new stages and quite a churn up, so it seems different.
But the strategy really just going for points or going for the win?
My brain says I should be going for points, because clearly I just need to score some points, but it depends. If we start doing reasonably well, then obviously we'll have to do better than that, won't we? So yeah, we'll see. We'll see, get through tonight, we'll see where we're lying, and then take it from there.
Maxman David Higgins on hand, chatting there with Kenny McKinstry, but here to give advice to Steve Perez. But this is the first stage, starting in the little town of Port Erin, wiggling through the town and then up the hill. That map really doesn't show the true nature of the 1.54 miles, but a very big crowd here. And off first is David Mann in this 1999 Subaru, the car that David Higgins indeed used on the Network Q Rally in 2002. And David having a little bit of trouble that first tricky hairpin, and now we go on board with him as we go through the town. 90 left here. There's the 90 right. turns right in front of the pub, takes a bit of curve, past the fish and chip shop. We certainly enjoyed our early supper there prior to the start of the rally. Down the hill now, heading towards the area of the harbour here in Port Erin, right on the southern tip of the Isle of Man. And again through this narrow lane, brick walls either side. You've got to be pretty accurate through here. And then further down the hill, heading towards the harbour. Alan Cook it is, of course, on the notes. Shared all that success with David last year. And David very nearly overshooting into that garage as we now head up this road, which will take them past the house which Nigel Mansell built some years ago. Gorse on either side of the road, and this is very tricky and technical up this short road. It might only be a short stage, but it is a difficult one. I think that was the entrance there to Mansell's house. And now we keep going, little jumps up here if you're going really quickly, and this gets the adrenaline pumping. And now heading up towards the end of the stage, a good time here will be under 150, and David Mann, I know, is already not heading for a top time here, having had that bit of overshoot by the garage. Jump there, and heading towards our camera, another jump. But time lost on that first hairpin and then that near overshoot at the garage. And here we are right at the end of the stage now. So David Mann, a time of 1:59. He'll be disappointed with that. So next up, Melvin Evans, second last year, winner of course in 2000. No problem round the difficult hairpin, and Melvin in this 2000 Subaru, rallied by the factory team, by Cankin and Burns, and a big jump from Melvin and Martin Henry there, and they continue to flash up the hill. And Melvin Evans, 152.8. Now here's Kenny McKinstry, sadly robbed of victory here last year. Won the rally in 1999 and in 2000. Noel Orr is his co-driver, a man from Banbridge who hires out these Subarus. I think this is the most modern car on his fleet. And Kenny McKinstry's time, 152.4. No one's beat that 150 mark yet. Here is Roger Duckworth then, second on this rally in 2000. And a reasonable jump from Roger Duckworth, the man who leads the Kumo National Rally Championship, had that victory at the Sunseeker. And trying to get the best shot there, and along comes a very exciting Metro with Tony Davis at the wheel. Tony Davis been very quick on the Isle of Man in the past. And don't be confused, that is Aled Davis, the co-driver there to Stephen Hendy. And next away, car number 8, Steve Fleck, always quick on tarmac. Steve Fleck with a recent victory, of course, on the Tour of Cornwall. Ex-factory car from 1999, car that Richard Burns won the Network Q in 1999 indeed. Well, we've got quite a few Hyundais here, but we haven't seen this one before on this championship. And this is Marcus Dodd, has switched to this Hyundai, and Marcus has a big jump, and Marcus looks like he's heading for a really quick time. Marcus Dodd attacking here. And Dodd it is, who stops the clock at 1:49.3. Here's a master on the island in the past, John Price, with his wife Caroline alongside him. But that car is not on all 6 cylinders. I don't think John's going to go very far at all. Here is Steve Fetch and John Richardson in their ex-factory Hyundai. There's a lot of these out of captivity now. MSD have sold virtually all the cars. A big lock-up from Steve Fetch. Back with a car that was rallied by Marcus Dodd, and before that, Peter Solberg in 2001. This is Phil Morgan. Martin Douglas alongside him. And Phil comes towards the end of the stage. Here is Paul Bird in his 2002 ex-factory M Sport Focus. His co-driver Andrew Bardry, originally from the Isle of Man. Had a lot of success with Justin Dale, of course, so he will know this road pretty well. And Birdie certainly attacking in the See Me back car. Also has support from Vodka Kick and comes towards the end of the stage. 149.4, a tenth of a second slower than Marcus Dodd. Here is Craig Middleton. So nearly won the Sunseeker. Disappointment, of course, on round 2. Fans certainly enjoying this, and now it's Steve Perez in a sister car to the one we saw Paul Bird drive. And getting a lot of rallying in this year is the reigning British historic rally champion, Steve Perez. And Perez, the Vodka Kick boss, now has Daniel Barrett as his co-driver, who, of course, won the US Championship with David Higgins last year. Young co-driver, certainly on the move. This Manx Rally, sponsored by the Roush Group from America, who now own Mount Tune, and here is a man who has been a customer of Mount Tune in the past. It's Mark Perrott. Now, the old Escort is long in the tooth, but Mark certainly isn't, and he drives this car with tremendous skill. Well, I'm not sure about those people wandering down the stage with that baby carriage. It's quite quicker there. Here is Geoff Jones. Geoff Jones looking for his first Group N victory of the year. He'll have to beat people like Paul Wedgbury here in his Mitsubishi. And Paul's arch rival Rory Gallagher is not taking part this time. But Marcus Dodd, it is quickest on stage 1 from Paul Bird and Mark Perrott. Moving on to a more typical stage now, 6.84 miles. This is the second stage. Kulikam, it's called. And as we've already heard, a diabolical season so far for David Mann. But we're going on board now with Melvin Evans and Martin Henry, who rejoins him this year as a co-driver. Melvin, of course, from Lampeter. Won the Tour of Epint earlier this year. Just to remind you, of course, that this Manx National also has a round of the Grand Prix Racewear Tarmac Championship, which is, of course, run by Andrew Hale. And Melvin Evans, of course, one of the leading contenders in that. Now, here is Kenny McKinstry, the man from Banbridge in Northern Ireland. Acclaimed expert on the tarmac, his co-driver, Noel Orr. Roger Duckworth, always fast, always consistent, and a good all-rounder on both surfaces. The number 8 car, then, of Steve Fleck, another tarmac expert. And here's Marcus Dodd, early leader of the rally. But the midway point here, Marcus Dodd certainly down on time. Problems here for Steve Petch and John Richardson. Major problem with that car. I think the engine is giving up the ghost. He'll be out, I think. And look at this. Paul Bird is really pushing very hard here. And here is Craig Middleton. Craig disappointed to retire from the Astra stages. Steve Perez certainly got so much faster in the last couple of years and enjoying this wonderful Focus. This is an older style of WRC Ford, but Perrott is really going quickly. Perrott still has a lot to prove. Went quickly on the Astra stages, but then had those problems. Here's Brendan Greeley, the big man himself, in the Mitsubishi, fighting for honours against this man, Geoff Jones, for the Group N victory. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment on Rally Fever. 2 days of the Manx National, the Mini Manx they sometimes call it. Stage 4, 5 stages this Friday evening, and then the 11 stages on a Saturday. Kenny McKinstry, after 2 it is, who leads a blinding time on Special Stage 2. David Mann, he's in 10th place, finally coming to grips with his Subaru. We can go back on board with him. Co-driver Alan Cook from Carefully has recently taken the big move to become a full-time rally co-driver and coordinator. No question of doubt about Melvin Evans' commitment in that Subaru, really trying hard. Some of the roads on the Isle of Man are quite wide like that, and some are less wide, like this one here. Just past what they call the mines there. Again, gorse bushes on either side. And Melvin Evans in third place. But it was Kenny McKinstry who blitzed them on stage 2 to move into the lead of the rally ahead of Paul Bird. And Roger Duckworth in a big fight there for third place with Mark Parrott and Craig Middleton. Here is Marcus Dodd, fastest on the first. He's dropped back to about 9th place. Look at that exhaust glowing. Oh dear, ducks in the way. And a big charge again from Paul Bird. He flies high. And Paul Bird it is currently in 2nd place. Craig Middleton battling just behind the McKinstry, Bird and Evans trio. And Steve Perez is in the mix as well, but Steve won't like this. He's behind Geoff Jones. But Mark Parrott likes the tarmac. Might be thought of a bit of a Welsh expert, but goes very well on the tarmac. Here is Brendan Creeley, and he's having to give best to Geoff Jones just outside the top 10. Here is Geoff Jones. Some sensational speed from Geoff. But let's head now for service after 5 stages.
Kenny, you're absolutely destroying them. Not bad for an old man.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a good run. We had a good run on the first few stages. You know, so no problems. We're just giving it a wee bit of a tighten up for tomorrow.
So for tomorrow, you've got quite a good buffer there, almost half a minute. Are you going to still go flat out?
Yeah, I mean, I needn't say we weren't going flat out tonight. I mean, we're going reasonably well, you know, but there would be a bit left. I mean, the stages tomorrow, I would prefer them. You know, there's a couple of tonight's stages were sort of not Mickey Mouse, but they're not as nice as the normal international stages. So, you know, we're still a little bit left in reserve if need be. You know, so we're going to go out tomorrow and enjoy ourselves.
Paul, I remember talking to you a couple of years ago here. You were just starting your rallying career in a Group N car. Here you are. Well, not beating Kenny McKinstry, but leading the chase.
Yeah, you've got Kenny's a different class. He's been here, you know, lots of times and lots of experience, and you know you've got to give him all the respect that's due. So third, I'm happy with that overnight. Well, more than happy. Just nice steady run, not pushing too hard, probably about 75%, and just getting used to the focus on tarmac. And you know, it's great. It's behaving itself fantastic.
Yeah, it's going really well. We've just seen some interim results and we're in 4th place, so and it's quite a comfortable 4th at the moment.
What about rallying here on the tarmac? Do you find it exciting and interesting, or would you prefer to be in the Welsh Forest?
I prefer to be in the Welsh Forest, but this is very exciting. It's nice to do something different, and it is very exciting because the speeds are much higher.
Geoff, in the Group N car then, right amongst the WRC boys again.
Yes, the new car's fantastic. I can't believe how well it works over the bumps and the straights, really. It's really good fun to drive.
And doing that on tarmac, probably even more impressive than doing it on the gravel.
Well, I'm a gravel lover myself, but I really love this rally as well, so I'm really enjoying it, and it shows what the car deserves, really.
Bird fastest on the last of the night stages, but it's McKinstry in the lead. Yes, so 11 more stages to go and a rather misty morning, welcoming Kenny McKinstry in that 40.9 second lead. Had an overnight gearbox change. Evans third, then Perrott, Duckworth, Perez, Jones, Mann, Middleton and Dodd. That's the top 10, all big names. One Group N car amongst the WRC machines.
Well, Melbourne, this morning, damp roads. Does it make any difference to your tactics?
No, but it makes it interesting. Like the times could alter between everybody now. Depends who'll go well in the wet and if you've got the right tyres or whatever. So we'll see now to the first couple of stages where we are like.
Yeah, Steve, happy with your position thus far?
Well, I'm delighted. I never expected to be lying 6th overnight. I thought all these boys would have taken lots of time out of us. It's the first time I've driven a 4-wheel drive car on tarmac, really. We did about 10 miles last year. We're going out now on slick tyres. David Higgins has been advising us. We're going to see how it works.
And you've got David's co-driver alongside you as well.
Yeah, Daniel Barrett here is doing a great job.
Craig, happy with yesterday's work? Inside the top 10, but not challenging for the lead.
No, just as I expected, a complete culture shock coming on tarmac, and you know, it's just having trust that the car can actually go that quick around the corners. So I'll just keep learning today, and hopefully we'll have a good finish.
Get some points in the book.
Yeah, definitely.
You're the Irishman, you're meant to be quick on the tarmac, and that little Welshman's slaughtering you. What's happening?
Because I'm not quick on tarmac, and the wee Welshman's quick everywhere.
You got to, seriously, Brendan, you've got a 30-second deficit at the moment. Are you looking to make some of that up today?
We would like to try, I think, against someone of Geoff's calibre. I'm not sure if we can go as quick as him, but we'll certainly have a go and see what we can do, if we can put him under pressure. But we're not driving flat out with a good bit in hand, to be honest. We really need up our own pace to keep the guys behind, regardless what Geoff's doing. But we're settled in now, hopefully.
Do you not enjoy it too much, tarmac?
I haven't the experience. I do enjoy it, but I just haven't the experience, and it just takes a bit of time to be confident. I've got 90% confidence. You need 110% confidence to be really quick on tarmac.
So the first stage of the day, the ferry plies its way back to Liverpool. This is a short one, 3.23 miles, so not much will change here. Steve Petch, incidentally, already a retirement. Well, a chilly and, of course, wet day. The puddles here, and Kenny now with the reseeding running first on the roads with co-driver Noel Orr. Tricky little hairpin section. And Kenny has been a little bit conservative on the tyres, choosing the full wets. Here's Paul Bird then lying in second place. Partnership gelling with Andrew Bargery. Larry Carter, his old co-driver, is also on hand as the PR man for the team. And then Melvin Evans here, always quick on tarmac. Tricky little section this. People often get this section wrong. We go on board with Melvin.
Three right left, 200.
The garage owner.
200 repeat.
Already started the season well with that victory on the Tour of Epping.
Crest into a 4 right, keep in. Flat left, 100.
This is a 2000 specification car, been previously rallied by the factory team by Cancanen and Burns. Now here is Mark Perrott, who is definitely having a very strong rally indeed. Paul Morris, his co-driver. And Mark really pushing very hard on this little special stage 6, which opens the day. Reportedly fog on some of the stages. And here is Roger Duckworth. Roger still wondering if he's going to play the percentage game now, get some points on the board. You will notice that Andy Burton is not amongst these, decided not to come this year. He did do the Manx last year, but too many changes required to the Peugeot Cosworth. There's Steve Perez has a little nudge with the back. Here is Geoff Jones with that Subaru, the factory development Group N car. Right in amongst the WRC cars. Here's David Mann, but he won't be too disappointed. At least the car is running properly this year. But, oh, chisels off a bit of bodywork. Get reversed, David.
Don't worry about it.
And I would have thought David would have known that tricky little bit there.
100.
But David, as we said, hoping to put this awful season behind him. Seems very difficult to put back-to-back victories in this championship. Craig Middleton with co-driver Robin Herneman. And here's a sister home day, and it's Marcus Dodd learning all about the car. Steve Fleck with his Subaru, tarmac expert. And Tony Davis with an engine just the same as Andy Burton's now in the back of that Metro. Guys, it's a rally fever. Chickens on the road here in the little village of Solby, leading to the new for the Manx National 30-wheel stage. Going to go up the hill. It's going to be foggy at the top of this one. And hopefully those chickens and that cockerel indeed will get off the road before the first car comes. And the big news is that Mark Perrott is really charging and closing in on Kenny McKinstry. Paul Bird now dropped behind Mark Perrott. This is Melvin Evans, who's slipping back down the top 10 and is a bit worried about his clutch, I understand. Let's hear if he mentions it, see if we can even hear it.
Into a 5 left, 50, flat right continues, into a flat right, and flat right deep in, into a 4 left.
So that was Melvin Evans. Here's a man on the charge, Mark Perrott, fastest on stage 6. Roger Duckworth sliding the car around. And Duckworth still in a big battle with Paul Bird and Evans. Perez also in the mix there inside the top 10. And Geoff Jones still going phenomenally quickly. Still mixing it with the WRC cars. Here is Craig Middleton gaining confidence in the Hyundai on tar. And David Mann's had an altercation, there's no question of doubt about that. Look at the damage to the front. David's had 1/3 fastest time, so he now is starting to drive this car the same way he drove the old Subaru Impreza 555, the Win Motorsport prepared car. Of course, he switched this year to Ace Motorsport, who also run Melvin Evans' car.
150. Easy right, and absolute left, 100.
You see how fast it is around these roads of the Isle of Man. These are world-class rallying roads, no question of doubt about that. Brendan Creeley still trying to stay on terms with Geoff Jones. We move on as the rain comes down. I can tell you that Paul Bird has had a fastest time. Richard Hill has had a huge accident in his Mitsubishi. He is out of the running. Steve Fleck has also retired, and Roger Duckworth has moved up to 4th place. Well, look at the fog and mist here on the stage they call round table. 13.44 miles, so this is going to be pretty tough. But further on the stage, it's a bit clearer. Coming up to a difficult right-hander, and Kenny goes straight on and nudges into the bank. Well, it's really like ice up here, and Kenny can't find reverse in this car. And finally, he does get it into reverse. He's in a bit of a difficult position here. And we don't see Kenny McKinstry make many mistakes on tarmac. What about Paul Bird? Is he going to make it round here? No problem. Yes, Paul is fairly circumspect in this ex-factory car. Now we go with Melvin Evans.
To a press jump, into one right at Tyne Titans, one right repeats at Tyne Titans, and turn 9
Evans
right.
with this Subaru, which is new to him this year. More modern one than he's used to. And he slides the tail out and backs it into that bank. And Melvin Evans also losing time. We reckon that Kenny dropped about 20 seconds in that incident, and that could put Mark Perrott right on terms with him if he has a quick time round here. It really is coming alight here on the Manx National. Here is Perrott. Fastest on the first 2 stages of the morning, hangs the tail out in the ditch but loses no time at all. Now Roger Duckworth. He keeps it on the tarmac. Very, very slippy, that transition off the main road onto the even narrower little one. Steve Perez, no problems with him. And Geoff Jones flings it sideways. Oh, great stuff. Uses the ditch and powers it out. Craig Middleton is next, having a fine rally. No problem for Craig. Look at the mist and the fog. And here we are with David Mann again. Just nudging that straw bale. And you can see the tricky conditions, the mist and the fog.
400.
David Mann was third fastest on stage 7. Incidentally, stage 8 was cancelled due to not enough marshals, sadly. And Alan Cook just telling him to be careful through that chicane. And what, David having a bit of a moment there, reverses it out, drops a bit of time. Conditions absolutely atrocious.
Right over crest, 100.
Well, the onboard shows it all. Here's David at our tricky corner. Lots of understeer, but makes it. Just see the correction on the steering wheel here, and now this downhill section after that tricky right-hander. And David trying hard.
30.
And there's a corner down here where people have been off in the past. And that's it. And David's over the back through the gorse. Oh, and the car slowly goes upside down.
Engine off, pal. Engine off.
Oh, Alan Cook almost falling out of the car. Oh, what a season it's proving to be. Oh, Marcus Dodd into that bank. It really is catching him out. Marcus fires it up again. And Dodd's running towards the bottom end of the top 10 in this new acquisition, sponsored by his new company, flightwise.com. Log on if you want to hire a helicopter. Brendan Creeley, what will he make of it? No problem at all for Brendan. And the next one up is Martin Sansom, and spectacular through the ditch. Paul Wedgbury battling for Evo honours. And Paul's going in, he's going in hard and bounce. Now, most of the people have got away with this, but steam coming up, don't like the sign of that. I think that could be a split radiator. Well, Paul Wedgbury, who went so well on the Astra stages, making that little mistake there, and it looks as if it could put him out of the rally. Yep, Wedgbury decides to pull off. But here is a man who is setting the Evo challenge alight, Roy White, more used to tarmac than the gravel. Anthony Wilmington also now back with his old car going well, up in the top 3 of the Evo runners, but Roy White it is who I think is leading that at the moment. And, oh, and a bump and a bang for Phil Morgan, but well, he accelerates away. Oh. David Mann has walked back to our camera position, trying to get people to come and help him. Here's Bob Keenan, he hits the bank, but continues with the old Carlos Sainz car. And Jack Cook goes in hard in the Listerine car. Oh, wash your mouth out, Jack, after that. And, well, he's continuing, but I don't think that car's going anywhere, to be honest. Well, this stage really is catching everybody out. Moving on to stage 13. Perrott has put in a fastest time on the one we just saw. Fastest on 12. And Perrott is now in the lead, just ahead of Kenny McKinstry. It's 7 seconds. So what can Kenny do here on special stage 13? This is this little one with the tricky hairpin complex, and Kenny loses more time here. Is Kenny a little bit rattled? And Mark Perrott can increase his lead on this one after that. So Kenny not quite in the rhythm in these stages. Mark Perrott going really well, having made some improvements to his brakes overnight. And Paul Bird still right here in the hunt. No doubt helped by Andrew Bargery.
2 left and 3 right through bushes. A flat crest jump.
Well, I'm not sure if Melvin Evans is having problems with the clutch, or has just decided that he wants to go for maximum points in the Grand Prix Racewear Tarmac Championship, because he has slipped down to the bottom of the top 10 in this Subaru. But here is Mark Perrott, very much the man of the morning here on the Isle of Man. Continues to take time out of Kenny, and takes time out of him there at that hairpin. Barrett, of course, second-generation rally driver. The family's also in the building business. Mark is a building contracts manager, but likes to spend all his spare time rallying. Here is Roger Duckworth. And Roger inside that top 5. Another run using his head as ever, Roger Duckworth. And Steve Perez, last couple of rallies, we've seen him flying through the field in the closing stages. Geoff Jones continues to impress. Another Group N car we haven't seen yet, we should mention Martin Sansom. A second programme coming up, incidentally, on the Manx Rally, covering some of the other classes. Here is Craig Middleton. And Craig, currently running in 5th place. Marcus Dodd, running in 9th position. Well, I suspect we'll see him going very quickly on the next round of the championship in this. And that, of course, is up in Mid-Wales, Llanrydrod Wells, and the Mutiny Rally. Here is Brendan Creeley, who's taken some time out of Jones in the 2 previous stages, and Tony Davis with that new engine outside the top 10. That's a disappointment. We'll be back in just a moment on Rally Fever. In association with Kumo Tyres, it's Rally Fever, the closing stages now of the Manx National Rally. And still it's pretty wet and cold out here. Special stage 15, the penultimate one, 11.28 miles after this, just a little run up Faulty Will again. It says Orrisdale 2, but Orrisdale 1 was cancelled, and this is where Kenny's really got a charge. If he can deny Mark Perrott victory here. Mark has been the star of the morning. Kenny was the star of last night, and Kenny now having a big push. He wants to win this so badly to make it 3 Manx National victories. Here is Paul Bird. Paul, his 3rd run here on the Manx National. It was only 2 years ago. He came with a hired Steve Peck Subaru and was just learning the ropes. What progress this man has made as a rally driver. The Superbike team manager, the chicken farmer. Here is Mark Perrott. And Paul Morris calling out the notes. Can Mark hold off Kenny McKinstry's big push? Melvin Evans only just inside the top 10 now, just going for those tarmac championship points, I think. Nasty jump there. And the fans up here looking out for Roger Duckworth. And Roger's going to have another very strong points finish. Going to leave him well in the lead of the championship, I think. And the news coming through that Kenny has absolutely blitzed this stage and taken 20 seconds out of Mark Perrott, puts him back in the lead. There is Geoff Jones, secure in that Group N victory, unless he goes off after a big jump like that. Craig Middleton then will be very happy with this run with Rob Herneman, very experienced co-driver, says that Craig's the best person he's ever sat alongside. You might remember Rob in the old days in a Skoda. And here is Steve Perez, another good finish for Steve, will certainly put him up in the top 3 in the championship standings. Daniel Barrett, of course, is co-driver after that year in America, and I think Steve's going to settle down with Daniel now after trying several co-drivers. Marcus Dodd, really just a test in this car, but will finish his 2nd successive rally. That will please him. Steve Fleck, incidentally, a retirement with a diff problem. Martin Harrison in the Metro also not having a happy season. He's retired with a front diff problem. Brendan Creeley then will have to be resigned to 2nd place in Group N as we head back to the TT grandstand area. And yes, Kenny McKinstry just made it, held on Faulty Will after really destroying Mark Perrott on the penultimate stage. On the victory margin in the end, 25 seconds. Paul Bird flies to third place. Roger Duckworth is fourth. Craig Middleton fifth. Steve Paris in sixth place. A Group N victory in seventh place overall for Jones and then Creeley. Here are some of the retirements. We've been mentioning them, and right down to Paul Wedgbury, who we saw go out right in front of our cameras. Well, what about that championship position now? Well, it's very definitely Roger Duckworth in the lead with 67 points. Steve Paris has 56, and Brendan Creeley, 3 good finishes, give him 48 points. Craig Middleton, 1 retirement, has 41. And then in 5th place, it's Paul Bird with 40, and it's tight after that with Perrott, Petch, and the rest.
Getting a third Manx win, but none have been as close as this.
It's definitely had to push a bit now this afternoon, but I mean, it makes it all the more exciting for everybody concerned.
Do you think it was all over on 11 when you charged that bank right in front of our cameras, of course?
I know, you boys get it, always in the right place. Like, I mean, it was a silly mistake. I mean, it's one of those things, you pull the handbrake on to get round one of those hairpins, and yeah, they do it too much, you know, or not enough. And in my case, it was just not enough. Unfortunately, we lost probably about 10 or 12 seconds. You know, I mean, you'll have it in camera, so you know exactly how much we did lose. But we made up for that on the next one. We were 6 faster on the next one, and then on the one on the bottom of the island, we took 20. So we knew that once we'd done that there, we had one more to go, and as long as we kept our nose clean on that one, we'd be okay.
Surprise you, Mark, speed?
It didn't surprise me at all. I mean, I knew Mark would go very well. To be fair to him, in the wet today, in the middle stages, I mean, he went very, very fast. And you can't take that away from him. We made a mistake in one junction where the road section where David Mann had his problem, and that particular section was very, very slippy. We made a little mistake there, and we got jammed across a junction. We dropped 25 seconds. So, I mean, you can build up a 40-second lead and lose it all in just one swipe. Simple as that. I mean, if you get a puncture, you could lose a minute easily. So, rallying's rallying, and it's never over till it's over.
Absolutely, but a great drive from you, Kenny. Congratulations. You must be very pleased with it.
I mean, we're really happy to win it, you know, and we had a super day's crack. Last night was brilliant as well. It would have been nice if all the stages had been, you know, dry, but, you know, we're on the Isle of Man, so you have to take what comes.
What a battle that was.
Yeah, it was excellent. I really enjoyed that.
What about that last stage, so you just lost it there?
No, it was the one from last. We dropped 20 to Kenny, and that was quite a long stage, and I didn't take any chances. It just didn't go for us, so we just sat back and did what we could.
A lot of people having incidents on this rally. You kept it clean, though?
Yeah, we kept it reasonably clean. Yeah, we haven't been off the road, which is a good thing, and we've come away with maximum championship points. It would be nice to win this rally, Andrew, but at the end of the day, I can't think of a better tarmac driver than Kenny to finish second too, and so close to him.
Now the car's running reliably again, which is good.
Fingers crossed, yeah. I hope the car is reliable now.
Well, you must be so pleased with this. 3rd place overall. I mean, it's your best result, really. I know you won the Malcolm Wilson, but this is probably sweeter than that.
The best thing is actually beating Steve Perez, because Steve's going to have to pay tonight. So, and I owe him for the Sunseeker because he stitched me up there. So that's probably the sweetest bit that's going to happen. But no, to finish 3rd in the people, the drivers around me, you know, people like Kenny McKinstry are my heroes. So chuffed to bits. Yeah, Andrew did a great job. So credit where it's due. Fantastic result.
Must be a brave man, Andrew, sitting with Birdie here.
It hasn't been bad at all, actually. Hadn't put a foot wrong all weekend, so it's gone well.
Is there any marks on the car, Paul?
Not one, Andrew. Not a mark, which is different for us. Usually you have something, a mirror off or a bit of a scuff here or there, but no, not a mark anyway. It's really just a bit. The focus has been absolutely fantastic. A little hard maybe with the tarmac suspension, but we'll know when we come back for the international. But I've enjoyed it. It's been hard, and I've learned a lot as well over the last couple of days.
You're going to win one of these Kuban rounds soon, eh?
I don't know about that really. I'm just going to keep my head down and, you know, try and be consistent and make sure we get to the end of every rally.
Well, Geoff, outstanding drive there. That must make up for some of the earlier dramas of the season.
Yeah, but unlucky early in the season, but this rally's been good to us. I had a spin early on this morning, nearly give it away, but we had a bit of a go later on and sort of proved we could stay there really. So it was really good fun. We really enjoyed the rally.
And now tarmac, is it your favourite surface?
No, I always prefer gravel, but I like this rally. I like the character and the bumps and everything. I just like the rally a lot, so we're quite confident coming here. So really enjoyed it.
Brendan started to put some pressure on you towards the end of the rally.
Yeah, we had a spin, so we gave a